Welcome to the show. While we bid farewell to 2016 and ring in a new year, we've asked our panelists to share what New Year's resolutions they have and also what New Year's suggestions they have for our elected officials. Colin, what changes do you see for 2017?
Well, speaking for myself first, I'd like to lose a couple of inches off my waist, so I will go from 3 days a week to 5 days a week at the gym, and I'm going to start hiking more often. For our elected officials, I guess the only thing I would ask is please don't let the world end in the next year.
That's
I like it.
That's
I
quite
like
a
it.
task. Ken, what do you think as a follow-up to a profound statement like Colin has given?
I think, the best New Year's resolution that our elected officials could have would be if Donald Trump would make a New Year's resolution to stay off of Twitter.
At 3 a.m. Or any other time.
I think any other time. But, for that matter, as far as myself, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to concentrate on my business more. I'm going to concentrate on meeting new prospective clients every day, and I'm going to actually be out in the community a little bit more too, and try to help other businesses succeed in the community. So,
I think that's commendable on both of you to talk at the federal level what it is we want to see happen. It's a big year. It's a tremendous big year. I hope that there are wise people that doesn't allow the president-elect, who will be president next month, to take on really more than what the office allows, to step out of the constitutional bounds of what the president's options are, and also that there is someone that's got an eye on the button, so to speak, that to ensure that it isn't readily available at any whim at any particular time.
Well, I think you bring up a very important point, that's still staying on the federal level, which is that we have a system of checks and balances for a reason. And that system of checks and balances becomes more relevant at some times than it's at others. But we need to remember that the Constitution is framed into powers that are given to the various branches of the federal government for very, very good reasons, the way it is framed. But I think you brought up a good point, and we've been focusing on the federal side. And I think there is the other side of this is the more local side. And I think that message can be a lot more hopeful. Hopefully what we're going to see is a continuation of the programs that are encouraging business development downtown, continuing to try to draw more of the University of Maryland downtown, and really build the inner nexus of the city up and revitalize the local economy, which is in the process of revitalizing, and I hope we maintain that momentum.
How, following up with what Colin says, which is very important, Ken, how do you see the school board now accepting what the report that was given to the city by the urban partners to include the University of Maryland, to include BISFA, the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts, to include the theater and the other private developers and the walking trail? How do you see that all coming together with the school board? Do you see them following up? They have money in their budget now.
I really hope to see an expansion of what we have downtown as far as education. The Barbara Ingram School has been absolutely amazing, and I've seen a lot of great things coming out of that school. At the same time, I'm also very excited about Governor Hogan with the, what was it, $7 million he announced for downtown Hagerstown revitalization. That's huge. That's going to be a tremendous help to our community, and I really hope that we can start to get a lot more people privately investing in downtown as well to really help revitalize it.
Well, I think what you have to have, and I totally agree with you 100%, what you have to have, however, is a draw down there. And I think the education nexus downtown is a natural draw. also taken advantage of the fact that there's some very, very nice and relatively inexpensive property available right next door to those locations.
Right.
So I think that would be an excellent draw. And granted, the students at Barbara Ingram, we're talking about high school students, they don't necessarily have as much disposable income, but their parents are down there. They do a lot of presentations, and the University of Maryland is, I think, an excellent draw. And I have not been shy in saying that I would envision the University of Maryland having a Western Maryland campus in downtown Hagerstown. That would be the only downtown campus that the University of Maryland has in an urban setting, and it's a great urban setting to be in.
Yeah. I was at the announcement of Governor Hogan and the Deputy Secretary of Transportation last week, and to listen to what they wanted to do with the phases of Interstate 81, also what they want to do with downtown. And I think with what Governor Hogan and what the city officials are looking at, what the county officials are looking at, the county commissioners, the county administrator, what the school board has in their budget that can be used for some $4 million that can be used. Governor Hogan has laid it out in black and white. Here's what he's willing to do, and here's my $7 million plus.
Yeah.
They had the $4 million for the commissioners, $4 million for the school board, $1.5 million from the city of Hagerstown, and the private sector with Paul Crampton, John Barr, and Greg Snook. We have the opportunity now to put forth a development in Hagerstown that follows a trail with the leadership of Mayor Brucci and the newly elected city council folks to make this whole thing extremely profitable and bring the city of Hagerstown back to where it should be, which is a centerpiece of the state of Maryland, where we used to be. We can do that again, and we can overcome Frederick.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I'm very hopeful about 2017 for Hagerstown. I think it's going to be a great year for Hagerstown. I think it's going to be a great year for Washington County.
How do you see Mayor Brucci fitting into this now? He had certain ideas in the past, and I see he's now changed maybe on the walking trail. How do you see him pulling this whole thing together?
I think Mayor Brucci is a fairly pragmatic person. So you always, when dealing with candidates, usually have to overlook the campaign period because there are oftentimes things said for political reasons, as we all know, that may or may not be a reflection of the actual opinion on certain projects. I'm sure, I know that he's bringing some different ideas in terms of the way we should be doing things, but he's not going to make a decision because of some campaign promise or some campaign statement that he's going to do away with something or not support or fund some sort of a project, the walking trail included. He is going to make the decision that makes the most sense based on the situation on the ground. What
do you think of Colin's comments there, Ken?
I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I think that Mayor Brucci is going to be great for Hagerstown. He took his licks when he lost the election to Geispert's, and I think he has learned his lesson as far as where some of the boundaries should be for what he needs to push for downtown and what he doesn't need to push.
And in all honesty, and I think it's very important to say again, and this was a tough mayoral election because I like both of them, he's also inheriting a lot of good things that the Geispert's administration did. So, and I think we should remember that, and I think that's one of the things that we benefit from here in Hagerstown especially, is we don't have the partisan elections that other places do.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I think that with what the council, the newly elected council, and what the mayor brings to the table, it's one of the first times in my career that I have seen the county commissioners and the mayor and council on the same page on such a big project, such as the redevelopment of downtown Hagerstown.
I agree.
And some local business leaders that have come to the table, put their money out. Mike Fitzgerald has really stepped to the table. He's out there trying to promote filling up shops. A lot of people don't give Assad Gataz credit. I mean, he's got a couple major buildings. It's not in downtown, but don't forget, you can't just develop downtown.
Right.
Hagerstown starts from the time you come through the boundaries on the dual highway or in the west end or from the north end or from the south end of how things are really looking up in the overall area. So it's, do you have anything to follow up with, Ken?
Nope, I think that pretty much says it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree 100%. You know, I think it's going to be looking up for Hagerstown. I really think it's going to be great.
Up next, the possibility of a new race for nuclear arms. We're back in 3 minutes.